Hey everyone, TJ Hernandez here with RosterCoach.com, and this is the Week 6 GPP Value Report, where every week I'm going through the featured tournaments on the main slate for both FanDuel and DraftKings and discussing the structure of each tournament, looking at things like the amount of the field that's paid, the rake in each game, how much money is going to first place, and just helping you decide what contests you want to enter based on your goals. So people that are looking to maximize their upside might be looking for games with a higher first place prize, while those that are looking to take on less risk and lower variance might look for games that might not have as much upside, but are looking for things like a larger percentage of the field being paid, bigger multipliers for small cashes, and then of course avoiding high rake whenever possible. After the rake increases over the last couple of weeks, we didn't see a lot of movement across games on either site. We did see DraftKings add a couple different tournaments this week, so I'll just go through the games that I want to highlight, the most extreme games in terms of the payout structures or the upside, and try to help you decide which games you want to play. So starting at the lower stakes on FanDuel, as we've seen the last couple weeks, up to the $5 level, we see a 16% rake. The flattest game in terms of payout structure that you're going to see is going to be this 100K snap at the $2 level, which has a 25 entry max. That game is only paying out 5% to first place, but we see 25% of the field being paid. Similar structure to the pancake block at the 25-cent level, but that pancake block does have a 16.5% rake. As I've continued to stress, if you still qualify as a non-experienced player, which is just based on the number of games you've played, really encourage you to play the huddle at the $3 level, a $110,000 prize pool, $10,000 to first place. Pretty good structure with 24% of the field being paid and less than 10% of the money going to first place. But again, that 10% rake is what I'm looking at. So that's a game you should be playing if you could afford to throw a couple bullets at the $3 level. Now, if you're looking for a game with a little bit bigger prize pool or a bigger first place chance, of course we have the Sunday Million. Back down to $2 million total prize pool with first place of $500,000. So of these games below $10, the most money going to first place, 25%. And if you min cash in that game, less than 1.5x your money. There are a couple other games. We have the $200,000 rush at the $5 level, which is awarding $40,000 to first place. And we have the snap at the $4.44 level, a new buy-in level on FanDuel that's offering $20,000 to first place. The snap paying out a little over 20% of the field with about 13% of the money going to first place. Move up to the rush for just 55 more cents, but we see less than 20% of the field with 20% of the money going to first. So a little bit steeper there, but a little more upside. And if we move up to these games priced $10 and above, we see that rake gradually drop as you move up in buy-ins. The game that's going to be paying out the highest percentage of the field this week at $10 and above is the $80,000 sweep at the $25 level. That's a single entry game with a chance to turn your $25 into $10,000. So not only is it flat, but it is a pretty decent first place prize, 10 grand. Anything else that you're looking for a prize pool or a first place prize of 5 digits or above, you're going to get a fairly big portion of the money going to first. So we see something like the kickoff at the $12 level with $40,000 going to first. That's 20% of the prize pool. Everything else with the first place prize of at least $10,000 is 20% or more. As we move up to these higher stakes games like the $75,000 cover and the $500,000 blitz, we see less than 19% of the field being paid. One thing that does stand out is the $65 touchdown, $30,000 prize pool, 2.3x your money if you min cash. So if you're just kind of grinding out, don't want to play a ton of entries, but also don't want to play a single entry game, I like that game because you get to play a 5 max game, so you're never going to be at a real disadvantage, even if you could really only afford 2 or 3 bullets. Not a ton of upside, $4,000 to first, but again, if you're somebody that's grinding out a profit and don't want to face a huge field, just 524 people with the chance to more than double your money if you min cash. So one of the things that I always like to consider when I'm choosing which games to play. Moving on over to DraftKings, looking at games up to the $9 buy-in level. Not much difference in rake. Again, last week that rake went up to 16% all the way up to the $5 level. We do see two games a little bit lower. The daily dollar at the $1 level and the cover 4 at the $4 level, about 15.5% rake. Still a lot higher than we're expecting, but worth considering if you are just kind of flipping a coin between which games you want to play. The two games paying out the highest percentage of the field are the $1.5 million play action at the $3 level and the $10,000 safety at the $2 level. Both of those games are paying out over 27% of the field. I believe that's the highest we're going to see on either site this week. Of course, that play action, you're facing over 500,000 entries, so a really big field to traverse there. If you're looking for another game with a big first place prize, you're going to have to move up to the $8 level, at least if you're trying to stay in this buy-in range. That $450,000 post pattern is awarding $50,000 to first. A lot fewer entries there, 66,000. That game is paying out about 25% of the field with 11% of the money going to first place. So you're still getting over a quarter of the field being paid, but again, you do have to make a pretty significant buy-in jump if you're not bankrolled for that and don't want to play against a field of people entering 150 lineups when you can't afford to. That's obviously worth a consideration. All the other games kind of depend on your bankroll. Of course, if you can make the jump up to that $6, $8, or $9 level, you're going to get a little relief for your rake. The only game that really stands out is pretty steep, at least for these buy-in levels, is the front four at the $4 level. That game paying out 23.9% of the field with 10% of the money going to first. So of all the games here, this is the steepest payout structure. And then moving up to the games priced $12 and above, of course, we have the Millionaire. We're back to a $4 million prize pool, which means 25% of the money is going to first place. Other games offering a big first place prize. If you're looking for upside, we have the $150,000 fair catch at the $12 buy-in level. That's a single entry tournament, awarding $15,000 to first. The Spy at the $100 level has a $10,000 first place prize. The Power Sweep, $75,000 to first place, which is the $150 buy-in level. That's a 3 max game. And then we have $2.2 million Field General, which is one of those new games at the $444 buy-in level, $300,000 to first place. And another new game, the $100,000 Stiff Arm, a $555 single entry with just 200 entries, $15,000 to first. Game that I really like this week with 27% of the field being paid, 15% of the money going to first place, 1.8x your money if you min cash, and of course that rake reduction there at these higher stakes. So if you are playing higher stakes games, a single entry game with only 200 opponents is a game that I'm always going to be pretty attracted to. Other contests that are paying out at least 26% of the field are the Hail Mary at the $12 level, the 3-point stance, which is a 3 max game at the $33 level, and the Chop Block at the $50 buy-in level. Other than the Millionaire, which I already mentioned is a pretty steep payout structure, that Power Sweep at the $150 level that I already brought up is paying out less than 22% of the field with 15% of the money going to first. And then the Field General, that new game, is barely paying out 20%. You are getting a chance at a big first place prize and a rake drop, but 20% of the field being paid out is a pretty small amount. So if you're not generally playing high stakes, I probably wouldn't recommend starting out there. Going to be facing stiffer competition with not a lot of the field making money in that one. So again, those are just the games that really stand out to me, either in terms of prize pool or structure. Just go through these and take a look. Hit me up if you have any questions about game selection or any of the games that I mentioned here. Again, this is TJ Hernandez with RosterCoach.com. Thank you for watching.